Welcome to ESPN College Football presented by Kay Jewelers. And welcome to Chicago and Big Ten country. Early November, but we have winter-like temperatures and wind chill, which is nothing new for those that brave many a Saturday to watch the team they love. Over 20,000 Ohio State fans expected as the Buckeyes play their first game since losing to Penn State 2 weeks ago, taking on Northwestern. The Wildcats still hoping for a New Year's Day bowl are 7-2, 3-2 in the Big Ten. Ohio State 4-1. Hopes of a third straight BCS title game appearance are gone, but still a shot at playing in a BCS bowl game. As always, great talent at Ohio State, young and old. The young, true freshman Terrell Pryor. The older, junior tailback Beanie Wells, and the oldest, James Laurinaitis and Malcolm Jenkins, who eschewed the NFL for one more year with the Buckeyes. Meanwhile, the light has come on the North Shore of Chicago and Evanston, and many feel Northwestern's success is because of one of the school's favorite sons, All-American linebacker turned head coach, 33-year-old Pat Fitzgerald.
Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Let's go. Game's won in the trenches. Let's go. Big Ten football. Game's won in the trenches. Let's go. That's it, John. It's a way to kill off the ball, Johnny. Hey, Johnny. Let's go, big man. Let's go, senior.
You're getting a look at a good young football coach that understands the culture at Northwestern.
That's Andre Ware. I'm Dave Pash. We, along with the fans here, cold. It's 38 degrees, 29. That's what it feels like. Snow flurries as well, and even a chance of rain. But Pat Fitzgerald would not have it any other way. He played in these conditions in the mid-90s as an all-star linebacker here with the Wildcats.
You know it's cold when your broadcast partner shows up with the hand warmers today. This may be the first game in my history at ESPN that I don't take this jacket off all day long. A little chilly today.
And we'll see how some of the Ohio State players like Terrell Pryor react to this. Now, Pryor grew up in Pennsylvania, so this kind of weather, nothing new. But on this stage, he hasn't played in a lot of cold games. Ohio State will receive, and the Buckeyes winning the toss. Also, the guy that will snap it to Pryor and shotgun, Mike Brewster, a true freshman. He has not played in this kind of weather before, growing up in Orlando.
Yeah, Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator for Northwestern. We got a chance to talk with him the other day, and he's basically ready for the challenge. So they got to tackle well, attack at the line of scrimmage. They know Ohio State wants to run the football, want to run it well, and it all revolves around Terrell Pryor and Chris Wells.
The ball falls off the tee, so the Windy City already impacting our game as we have a little bit of a delay. Villarreal set to boot it away. Jim Tressel in his 8th year, and only one time has Tressel lost back-to-back games. That was in 2004 when he actually lost 3 in a row, and it started here at Northwestern.
Coach has a pace going on a little nerves settling in that stomach.
Wind already whooping here in the Windy City, and again the temperature right now, it feels like it's 30 degrees at best, and it might get worse before the day is done here on November 8th. Lamar Thomas back to receive the opening kickoff for Ohio State. Across the 25-yard line and out past the 30 to the 35. Brad Phillips with the tackle for Northwestern. Terrell Pryor 5-1 as a starter. He's completing 65% of his passes, coming off a season-high effort, 226 passing yards in the loss to Penn State.
Well, he leads our way as one of our impact players today. Just a smooth player. Was a parade All-American out of high school last year. Fabulous player. Chris Beanie Wells, they really missed him early in the season. He went out with a foot injury, but is back at 100%. And the leader defensively, the big rock in the middle, James Laurinaitis.
It'll be Chris Wells on 1st and 10, and great job by Northwestern, but a penalty flag down in the area of face mask. Jordan Maben on the stop of Wells, who missed 3 games after injuring his toe against Ohio. He returned against Minnesota.
Face mask, 36 defense, 15-yard penalty. So automatic first down.
is. So Maven with a face mask.
Yeah, Prince Quatang in the middle of your screen. You see him here as he rallies to the football. Right there, he's got the face mask of Chris Beanie Wells. So that one's going to draw the attention of the official. Kind of unfortunate for Northwestern because they're off to a good start. Has Beanie Wells behind the down and distance mark where defensive coordinator Mike Hankowitz wants to keep this Ohio State offense.
See the starting lineups rolling in at the top of your screen. The wide receivers Hartline and Rubisky, their numbers down from a year ago, but that's in part because Ohio State not as effective throwing the ball. They've done a good job running the ball, but so far 2 plays in Northwestern's defensive line, which is pretty good, all over Beanie Wells.
Yeah, that's where they have the trouble offensively. Ohio State 106th in the country in passing. Part of that is because they have a young true freshman at the quarterback position who's just kind of finding his way. Early in his development, he was just back, take a look, and then take off with the football. Then he went to stage 2 where he was at least getting through somewhat of the progression. Now he knows the entire offense and is comfortable running it all.
Third straight running play to Wells, and again Northwestern winning the battle at the point of attack. Mims and Nate Williams in there for the Wildcats. John Gill, Corey Wooten, Mims, Williams, they've got some good people up front.
Yeah, they do. And you talk about that defensive front. It's the strength of this Northwestern defense. A lot of experience up there. Corey Wooten kind of leading the way along with John Gill, a senior in his last year and is a fabulous, fabulous football player. We talked to Mike Hankowitz. The first thing he says, we've got to stop the run of Ohio State in order to have a chance defensively. And there's a guy right there with a high motor. Has really, really transformed into an excellent football player. Had an outstanding game last week against Minnesota.
And already Ohio State forced to call a timeout.
Ohio State, their first timeout.
So 3 consecutive running plays, and the only yardage they have really is because of the personal foul face mask, and then they have to call timeout. Now, many people wondering, Andre, after the loss to Penn State 2 years ago, considering guys like Malcolm Jenkins and James Laurinaitis come back for a chance to they're used to playing in national title games, and here they are now, at best, a Big Ten title, and that's probably unlikely.
When we talk about the culture in Northwestern, I think it's the exact same way at Ohio State. Jim Tressel has built it where kids love just playing college football, love going to class, and love the college experience overall. Yeah, they came back to compete for a national championship. They're going to come up a little bit short in that area, but the overall experience of being a Buckeye kind of outweighs the NFL at this point in those guys' careers.
You know, it's a Big Ten football when you buy a coat especially for this game.
Hey,
because they don't wear that in Houston.
A little chilly, got a little chilly last night. I said, you know what, I got to spend a little money and warm myself up, and that's the direction I went in.
I can at least say that I've had this for a while. Not a purchase yesterday. 3rd down and 8. First pass of the game for Pryor, and it's on the money for an Ohio State first down. Brian Rubisky, his 34th consecutive game with a catch.
Voted a team captain, has got some good hands and just has a knack for finding the soft spots in the defense for this Ohio State passing game. But you know, you get them in 3rd down and 8, you got to get yourself off the field.
Pat Fitzgerald, of course, took over when Randy Walker passed away prior to the 2006 season. Fitzgerald was an assistant on Walker's staff. Wells again looking for running room. He's getting hit as soon as he touches the ball, and that's been a problem for Ohio State. The offensive line, they've had a lot of guys banged up, and they have not done a great job this year.
Yeah, a lot of shuffling around on that offensive line for Jim Tressel, and you're going to see a bunch of bodies get to the football. Talking to Mike Hankowitz, the defensive coordinator, he said they're going to sell out, put a lot of guys around the line of scrimmage, especially on early downs and distances, and you see a bunch of purple jerseys and helmets rallying to the football.
You can be the best running back in the country, and Wells might be, but if you're getting hit when you touch the ball,
it's tough.
You're going nowhere. And against Penn State, he was held to 55 yards on 22 carries. Here he is again up the middle. It takes about 4 guys to bring him down. Brad Phillips leading the way for the Wildcats. 3rd and long coming up.
And a lot of circles. He's talked about as the most powerful runner in all of college football. Chris Beanie Wells, and they missed him in that Ohio State game. Suffered a little bit offensively because that's their MO, running the football. And there's not, frankly, too many that are better than Beanie Wells.
Ohio State lost to USC without Beanie Wells, and then Terrell Pryor started after that, won his first 5 starts And now both Wells and Pryor together, getting used to each other. See the numbers for Wells on the year. He was a Heisman Trophy candidate coming into the season. Pryor waiting. Now going deep. Got a man wide open. Caught inside the 5-yard line. Down at the 2 is Brian Hartline.
Well, they blitz, and they don't get to Terrell Pryor. And you're going to see a confident young football player at quarterback for Ohio State. They blitz, and Brad Phillips slips and does not get there 6 to 8 times during a game. This is Jim Tressel right here. He will take a shot down the field in the passing game, and you get Brian Hartline behind anyone. One of the best set of hands in the nation at that position.
So a 46-yard pass play on 3rd down and 16. The Buckeyes already converting 2 3rd down and long plays. Wells to the goal line and in. Touchdown, Ohio State.
Well, you're looking at it. That's the classic type of drive for the Buckeyes. Run the football, get to 3rd down, and then go up top in the passing game. And they make them pay down close to the goal line. There's not a better short yardage runner in all of college football than Beanie Wells.
That was an 8-play drive. I think there was 1 running play to the outside.
Yeah.
There were 6 between the tackles and then the deep pass. That was the drive. And the extra point good by Pretorius. 7-0 Tressel's bunch.
Well, when you blitz and you don't get there, Ohio State, they will make you pay.
In the Windy City, the Buckeyes leading Northwestern early. This game being broadcast in high definition on ESPN2 HD. Welcome back to the campus of Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois, on the North Shore of Chicago. Wildcats down to Ohio State 7-0. Well, Northwestern has fed all year off of the energy that Chris Skinner has brought to this team. Motivational speaker who was hurt in a DUI accident. He was a passenger in a car a couple years ago, and he doesn't live in the area, but he spoke to the team prior to the year, and Pat Fitzgerald said he had such an impact on his football team that he brought him back last night to lead the chapel service in preparation for this game.
And he's really had an effect on Corey Wooten, a guy that he really admired as a football player, the size and his athletic ability. And Corey Wooten has really turned it on and started playing extremely well for the Wildcats.
And Wooten, a guy that Pat Fitzgerald says could be a first-round NFL draft pick. He's got a great motor, and he walked by Chris Skinner at practice, and Skinner said to Coach Fitzgerald, he should practice harder if he wants to be good. And Fitzgerald brought Wooten over and said, hey, tell this guy that he should practice harder. And Skinner did. And Wooten has not been the same since. Ebert takes the short kickoff across the 30-yard line and out to the 33. Meanwhile, Ohio State with its first touchdown in 3 weeks. They didn't play last week. They didn't score a touchdown 2 weeks ago against Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to take a look at the scoring drive here. 6 plays, rushing, 6 runs, and basically nothing on the ground. And you go to the pass, 2 big plays over the top, and then a Beanie Wells touchdown run.
Mike Kafka starting at quarterback today for Northwestern. Hands off to Stephen Simmons, who is the 3rd-string running back, but Sutton and Conte are out for the Wildcats.
Let's take a look at the impact players for Northwestern. Mike Kafka had an outstanding game, 360 yards of total offense last week against Minnesota. Corey Wooten, just an outstanding player at defensive end for Northwestern. Then in the secondary, it's Brendan Smith manning the secondary, had the game-winning interception last week against Minnesota.
Here's Ebert on the outside, close to a first down at the 42-yard line. Starting lineup for Northwestern at the top of your screen. Kafka started 4 games 2 years ago, then hurt his hamstring, lost the job, and then getting a chance to start now because of a hamstring injury to C.J. Bechet.
Well, we were in Minnesota last week and got a chance to see Mike Kafka, the Mike Kafka show, up close, and he was just flat out dynamic. 217 yards rushing by Mike Kafka.
And Andre, that's a Big Ten quarterback rushing record. And here is Kafka running the ball on 3rd down. He broke a ton of tackles last week, able to squirt through a hole there, pick up the first down.
Well, he's a big, athletic kid, 6'3", 210 pounds from Chicago, Rita High School, and this is just a direct snap to the quarterback right up the middle. Designed run. There's no doubt that he is going to run the football, and now it's just get momentum and pick up the first down. Off to a pretty good start here, Dave.
And Pat Fitzgerald says that Boucher is available if need be, as Kafka had a little trouble there catching the snap. And now he's being chased by Gibson. Again, Kafka breaking tackles. Laurinaitis hits him out of bounds. Penalty flag.
That's one that Laurinaitis, being a senior, 3-year starter, captain of this defense, he should know a little bit better. Let's take a look at it. It's at the end of the play. Mike Kafka off to the similar start that he had last week against Minnesota. And you know what? That's a message being sent right there. You know, we're not going to stand for all of what you did last week too long.
Yeah, Kafka knows he's got to be careful on some of those cutbacks to the middle of the field. He might get earholed.
I think you could, defensively, you design something to stop that, and he's the kind of guy that could frustrate you all afternoon by just running the football. So deceptive in his speed and his moves. It was fun to watch.
Those linebackers are fast for Ohio State, and they will hit you. Here's Kafka running again, and positive yardage inside the 25. Ross Holman on the stop for Ohio State.
Well, they just show it to Andrew Brewer, but this is Mike Kafka last week against Minnesota. Going up top for his first touchdown pass to Jeremy Ebert, and then it was all on the ground for Mike Kafka. Watch the high step in here as he turns the corner, having a little bit of fun, breaking it back to the inside. The receivers blocking downfield, allowing him to pick up additional yardage. He was magical in the Metrodome.
Already 19 rushing yards today. Kafka going to throw. He threw 2 picks last week, able to complete that pass for a first down. Grabbed by Ross Lane at the 18-yard line.
And he leads the Wildcats in receptions coming into this game. 38 receptions, now 39. Looked as though it might have skipped out there. Actually got tipped by Thaddeus Gibson, the big defensive end, but nice concentration on the part of Ross Lane.
And he's going up against Malcolm Jenkins there as well. Gave him quite a cushion. Don't know if that was zone or not. Here's Kafka on the run. Gets some blockers again. Wrestled down by Jenkins at the 13. But again, good gain on first down as we say hello to Wendy Nix.
Well, good morning, Dave. Thank you very much. Time now for our Taco Bell studio update. Purdue at Michigan State. Who else but Javon Ringer? A 1-yard run caps off an 8-play drive. That's his 19th touchdown of the season, leading the nation.
Of course, still an opportunity for Michigan State to win the Big Ten if there's a 3-way tie with Michigan State, Penn State, and Ohio State.
Just got to take care of business. How about this drive by Northwestern? Ohio State goes down. Northwestern comes right back and puts together a nice drive of their own.
Already 24 rushing yards for Kafka, trying to get to the first down. Will come up a couple of yards shy. Tripped up by Doug Worthington. Mike Kafka, a guy that Pat Fitzgerald says is a bold football player from the south side of Chicago. Works hard in the weight room in the offseason. Tough kid, about 215 pounds.
One of a few players on this roster that has become an iron cat and is taking the percentages of certain lifts as well as times. And I think there's only 13 to 15 players on this entire roster. Guess who else has won? Mike Kafka.
And here he is running, getting away from Laurinaitis, and appears to have a first down. Laurinaitis hit him first. Kafka, slippery little guy, and it's a first down and goal for Northwestern.
Showing you that hard work that pays off right now, and that he does in the weight room, breaking a tackle or two and moving the chains. An additional first down for Mike Kafka.
Looked a little bit like Tim Tebow on that run. Hard to bring down.
You know what? The last 2 weeks, Northwestern and Mike Kafka have looked a lot like Tim Tebow and the Florida Gators, where they get down close, especially in this area of the field, and they're just thinking about running Mike Kafka.
Here he is again, cutting it back, getting to the 5. Speaking of Tim Tebow, Florida in a situation now, if it wins today, it'll automatically play for the SEC championship. Is he back now in the top 2 or 3 in terms of the Heisman Trophy race?
I don't know about the top 2 or 3. I think it's totally dominated by the quarterbacks in the Big 12. And tossed Michael Crabtree right in there. Actually, he's at the top of my list after last week's performance against the Texas Longhorns. But I think you're right. Tebow is back in the conversation about the Heisman.
11th play of this drive. Kafka has run 7 times already for 32 yards. He's also 2 of 2 through the air. Playing with a lot of confidence. Play clock winding down.
That Ohio State spread out the middle of the field looks tempting.
Kafka going to run again to the 3-yard line, tackled by Laurinaitis and Anderson Russell, and now a penalty flag flies in on the goal line. Flag came in late.
A couple of guys mixing it up back there. Kurt Coleman as well as Al Netter, the left tackle for Northwestern, and I think it's going to be on Kurt Coleman.
After the play is over, dead ball, personal foul.
This is going to be a first down for Northwestern, and a couple of upperclassmen, Kurt Coleman, mixing it up with a big left tackle. Everybody looking to the sideline, getting the play, everyone on the same page for Northwestern. But you've got 2 guys, leaders on this defense on 2 levels, Laurinaitis as well as Kurt Coleman. And a couple of penalties have aided this Northwestern drive.
Yeah, second personal foul so far in this game. And it's a 1st and goal for Northwestern. Just outside the 1-yard line. Kafka going to take it himself. And he comes up short. Cameron Hayward knocked him down. But you talked about it, Andre, an impressive drive. Remember, Ohio State has given up only 4 offensive touchdowns in the last 4 games. They're one of the best defenses in college football.
Yeah, and you know what? You take it defensively. They've struggled a little bit. Now Northwestern going to a quick snap here.
Yeah, Kafka will take it himself, and this time Kafka's in, rolling off a teammate for a touchdown.
You talk about the MVP of this football team right away, and an excellent call by Mick McCall, the offensive coordinator. Kind of caught Jim Tressel and the Buckeyes asleep.
Flags are down, though. Ohio State may have had too many men on the field, or an illegal substitution there.
2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Offside defense, that penalty's declined. Illegal substitution also on the defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
But we know Mick McCall, the offensive coordinator for Northwestern, he likes to change speeds, change the tempo of a game. They get right to the line of scrimmage. You see guys offsides trying to sub their way in, and not enough edge players allows Mike Kafka to sneak his way into the end zone.
13-play, 67-yard drive. Villarreal's point after is good. Mike Kafka with his 3rd rushing touchdown this season. Only his 2nd start since 2006, and it's a good one. We're tied at 7.
ESPN's College Football is presented by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And in part by Acura Advance.
Overcast skies, but still a beautiful drive down Lakeshore Drive to Michigan Avenue and the Loop in Chicago. Northwestern and Ohio State tied at 7. 4:43 to play in the first quarter. Lake Michigan, and it's going to be frozen in about a month and a half. It might be by the end of the day. We're about 30 degrees right now as that kick goes out of bounds, and so Ohio State's going to have great starting field position after Kafka ran the ball on the final 7 plays of that drive for Northwestern.
Well, when you get in a game like this with a team as talented as Ohio State, you certainly got to take care of business in the special teams.
And it didn't help Northwestern losing some momentum there after that touchdown, kicking it out of bounds. Ohio State will have it at the 40 when we come back.
Working for Vegas.com is extremely tedious. I have to see every show on and off the strip. I find you the best seats, write a review, and post them on Vegas.com. It's a job that comes with little to no perks.
Rooms, show tickets, air hotel packages, tours, and more. Vegas.com. Do Vegas right.
Back at Northwestern, where it's all tied up at 7 apiece. And you see the last touchdown by Northwestern, all the confusion going on with the Ohio State defense, who doesn't know where to line up. And you look at it right there, you just draw a line, outnumbering them on the outside. The Wildcats allows Mike Kafka to sneak his way into the end zone and knot this baby up.
Ohio State called for offside and illegal substitution. Of course, both penalties declined as Beanie Wells with his best run of the day. Got about 5, tackled by Nate Williams as we check in with Wendy Nix.
Dave, thank you. We take you out to Indiana, hosting Wisconsin. The Badgers, meanwhile, trying to climb out of last place in the Big Ten. P.J. Hill with a hard-fought 3-yard run. Score now in the first quarter, 7-3 Wisconsin.
P.J. Hill gets in. See, I think this is a sign, Andre, of the Big Ten being better than people think. When Wisconsin's in the top 10 at the beginning of the year, and now they're last in their own conference.
Yeah, balance across the board, where each and every Saturday you better show up ready to play.
Here's Wells again. No running room on second down. Tang leading the way for the Wildcats. I mean, we've seen Minnesota go from 1 win to 7, and then a great game between the Gophers and Northwestern last year. Right now, Cathcart rushing Ohio State 35-3. Ahead, Andre will wear it out on some of the players for Ohio State electing to stay in college for their senior seasons. And later, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, 8 Eastern on ABC.
That'll be another good Big 12 South football game later today.
Meanwhile, a 3rd down and 4. Ohio State converted a 3rd and 8 and a 3rd and 16 on its opening possession. Pryor in trouble, and Wooten's got Pryor down at the 40-yard line.
Well, you're talking about a player that has really come into his own in the last couple of weeks. One of the better pass rushers in the entire Big Ten. Watch the outside move, push up the field. Now back underneath, and I'm going to make sure, I got a big quarterback, make sure I get him down. I'm telling you, this is a player that we will watch participate on Sunday afternoons.
Now 7.5 sacks on the season. Trapasso with a punt that'll drop inside the 25 and be downed around the 22. So the great starting field position for Ohio State, but a 3-and-out for the Buckeyes as that offensive line continues to struggle for Ohio State. ABC kicks off its coverage with regional action at 3:30 today. We mentioned the game tonight between Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Big one at 3:30 with Penn State taking on Iowa. Some of you will see Clemson, Florida State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Well, Penn State, if it wins out, still may not play for the BCS National Championship.
It'd be a crime.
Stephen Simmons running out to the 27-yard line, getting about 3. But you say it's a crime, but remember, I mean, this is the system we have, Andre.
Yeah, it is a system, but that doesn't mean that we absolutely have to like it. And you talk about Penn State, the remainder of their games at Iowa today, Indiana, and then a date with destiny with Michigan State to round out the season.
If Penn State were to lose today, Ohio State's back in the mix. If it wins today for the Big Ten title, here's a catch by Andrew Brewer, and good running room down the near sideline out to the 37-yard line. I mean, it's not guaranteed for Penn State just yet. Going to Iowa, even though the Hawkeyes the last few years under Kirk Ferentz have struggled, they've got a good running back in Sean Green. That may not be as easy as people think.
No, and you know, I think that's going to be a tough football game. But getting back to the point about the BCS, you know, Texas Tech, I think they're going to have their hands full with Oklahoma State tonight. Penn State going to be okay.
Tafka's pass incomplete. So it'll bring up 3rd down or 2nd down, but finish your point on the BCS.
You know, along the way, you mentioned the game against Michigan State at the end of the year. I think that's a bigger one than today's game against Iowa. They're a little bit ticked off at Penn State by having Texas Tech jump them this week. So they'll take care of business today. It's that last game. But in terms of Texas Tech staying ranked ahead of them, they've got 2 tough ones at Oklahoma State and Oklahoma in consecutive weeks.
And if you get by those 2, then you probably have to play Missouri in the Big 12 championship game, and that's not easy. As Kafka runs on 2nd down out to the 40-yard line. And, you know, if Oklahoma State wins today, beats Texas Tech, you would think Penn State would move up, but then that brings other teams like Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, USC kind of back into things.
Yeah, and you look at number 5 and 6, Florida and Oklahoma might be playing the best football of anyone in the entire country. And don't forget USC, throw them right in the conversation as well. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to have the old playoff word tossed around?
The thing is, a regular season right now is like a playoff, as that pass was nearly intercepted, thrown right to Nader Abdallah, and Northwestern will have to punt. I mean, isn't this great if you're a fan? Last week you get Texas Tech. The next week, okay, that playoff game, if you will, is over.
It's
now
good.
Another playoff game.
It's good if you're a fan. It could get great. you know, if you were to take it to the next level, and the next level being the playoffs with those, you know, just take those top 8 teams and let them finish it off. I think you've got one heck of a deal coming down the stretch of the season.
Here's Rubisky on the punt return, and he's wrapped up at the 27-yard line. Remember, no Ray Small today for Ohio State, suspended for at least one game, according to head coach Jim Tressel. We'll talk more about that when we return. 7-7, Ohio State and Northwestern. Jim Tressel in his 8th season as the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, suspending Ray Small for at least this game for a repeated violation of team rules, including what we've been told, missing classes and missing meetings, as Pryor's in trouble again in the backfield, wrapped up and thrown down by Kevin Mims.
Well, they had a nice 3-way rotation with Kevin Mims, Corey Wooten, as well as Vince Brown, who's out of this game with a knee injury suffered last week against Minnesota, but 3 talented defensive ends.
Just to finish up that story, Dre, on Ray Small, then Ray's dad, Ken, comes out and says that Tressel and Ohio State are intentionally trying to blow the career of his son. And, you know, again, what we were told, repeated violation of team rules. Jim Tressel's not the kind of guy who's going to come out and throw a kid under the bus and list all the things that have happened, but it's more than just one incident, more than just missing one
Knowing
class.
Jim Tressel long enough to know that he isn't going to just purposely, you know, destroy any kid's career, and there had to be a little bit more to it.
Here's Pryor on 2nd down and long, and boy, if those long strides, he eats up a lot of ground fast. Brad Phillip pushing him out of bounds on the far sideline.
I like the job now, the adjustments by Mike Hankiewicz, the defensive coordinator, has made. You know, you get a big time play in the backfield on 1st down, making it 2nd and long, keeping them still behind the down and distance markers. You get to 3rd and 10. Remember, though, the first drive, they had them 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 16 and did not get themselves off the field. Now here's the test for this Northwestern defense.
It'll be a 3rd down and 10 when we start the 2nd quarter. Pat Fitzgerald's Wildcats, thanks to the play of that defensive line. It gets better every month. College football in November on ESPN as Pryor throws downfield on 3rd down and 10, and it's another 3rd down conversion. Tight end Rory Nickel with only his 5th catch of the year.
Yeah, coming in, nice job, excellent throw by Terrell Pryor, and I don't know if you keep questioning whether this kid can deliver in the passing game. Look at that, that's just stepping in with confidence and delivering the football. Nice little high-low in terms of coverage, but able to squeeze it in for the big-time 1st down.
That's the 3rd time on 3rd and 8 or more that Ohio State has converted. And they only had 52 yards in the 1st quarter, and 44 of them came on one play as there's movement on the offensive line.
It's going to be Jim Cordell.
64 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. First.
And Jim Cordell, the left guard, just raises up just enough where it's going to draw the flag. And Northwestern, you look at it defensively, they've been behind the down and distance markers, where you want to be, where you want this Ohio State offense. And now you've got to get yourself off the field on 3rd down. You get them to 3rd and long, go ahead and take care of business. They could be in really good shape if they're able to start doing that.
It'll be Wells on 1st and 15. John Gill had him wrapped up, and Wells gets out of there. What a run by Beanie Wells inside the 15. Wells shakes off a defender. Touchdown, Ohio State. That's as good as it gets right there for Chris Wells.
And that's why you play to the whistle. John Gill had him wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, and Beanie Wells' legs, it just keep churning the legs and churning. No other Wildcat defenders show up, and now all of a sudden you find yourself giving chase to one of the best backs in all of college football.
At 235 pounds, to have the speed, not only the physical nature to be able to get out of that tackle by Gill as the extra points go, but then to take off and outrun the defense.
Well, that's the frustrating part about it, is he'll just come in -2, -1, +3, and then all of a sudden he keeps himself going, and one of these will turn up. You find yourself giving chase, and not a lot of guys around the country can bring down Beanie Wells when he has a head of steam going like that. Well, just watch right here, the power, the determination. He's not labeled as the most powerful runner in all of college football for no reason. Kind of gathers himself right there, and then it's off to the races. Boy, outstanding job of playing football at that position.
Well, some have compared him to Jamal Lewis of the Cleveland Browns because of those quick feet and that size at 6'1", about 240. What a run, what a game changer.
Means so much to this Buckeye offense. 0 touchdowns in the last 7 games, 2 today in the first half of this one.
3 of the last 7.
3 of the last 7.
And 129 yards for Ohio State. They got 121 of them on 3 plays. Wells was shut down prior to that run, and he was actually shut down on that run. But great players make great plays when you need them, and what a run. Now Ebert back to return the kickoff from Petrie.
Now you got to answer if you're Northwestern. Ohio State, you give up a couple of big plays they were able to answer after the first drive. Here's the challenge again.
Ebert at the 3. He gets knocked down at the 22-yard line by Nate Oliver. Let's go to Wendy Nix now in the studio.
Dave, thank you very much. The former #1 Longhorns trying to bounce back after that last-second heartbreaking loss at Texas Tech. Today they've got Baylor. Colt McCoy looking for Quan Crosby. He will find him 35 yards later. He's in the end zone. That made it 7-0, 14-0 Texas.
Well, Texas still in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
For a BCS National Championship berth. Running play, Simmons trampled at the line of scrimmage on the near side.
Well, if you're a running back and you break a run like that with Beanie Wells, you come to the sideline. Who's the first? Who are those guys you want to talk to? The big offensive lineman, Alex Boone, and the other guys along the front of Ohio State, congratulating the big fellas.
It also looks like Boone helped Wells stay afloat, if you will. Helped him keep his balance, gave him a little shove to keep him upright. As Peterman lost the ball and Ohio State recovers. Northwestern turns it over, and Russell comes up with it for Ohio State.
Yeah, when I talked to Mick McCall, he had 3 keys coming into this game. You got to hang on the football, don't turn it over, move the chains, which they've been able to do, and manage the football game. And they forgot to take care of #1 on this play here. Eric Peterman, usually a sure-handed receiver, doesn't really do or turn the football over. A senior who's played a lot of football, kind of their do-it-all player. An excellent job there by the All-American Malcolm Jenkins of getting in there and stripping the football.
Now Ohio State, with all the momentum, will start this drive at the 30-yard line. Beanie Wells back to work. Another big hole. Down to the 23. Quentin Davey on the stop for Northwestern.
Well, they just wear you down. They come at you with Beanie Wells. You just stop him most of the first quarter, well into the second quarter of this one. And then he breaks off that big run. But now you're starting to see, when you get the 5 guys up front playing with a little bit of confidence and the guy behind them as well, now you're starting to see what this Ohio State offense is capable of doing.
Wells, first-team All-American last year, 15 touchdowns, over 1,600 rushing yards. And again, missed those 3 games this year because of the toe injury. Jim Tressel says he's back to 100%. And Wells keeps the feet alive to get enough for the first down to the 17. Brandon Smith with a nice lead block. Brad Phillips on the tackle.
Boy, it certainly helps the development of a true freshman like Terrell Pryor when you have a talent like Beanie Wells behind him that can take a lot of pressure off a young quarterback, and a nice little luxury of being able to just turn it around and give it to a playmaker. Boy, that makes your job easier at that position.
Wells with 2 touchdowns in this game, so 6 on the season. And a fresh set of downs for Ohio State. Why not? Wells again. inside the 15, downed by Phillips, who already has 6 tackles, and he's a safety, so that's not necessarily a good thing for Northwestern.
Well, you know, we get on officials sometimes, but watch the nice work of the line judge here along the sideline when Malcolm Jenkins scripts this football. Coach is in the way. He's trying to get around him, and then he makes the correct call right there, right on top of things. Excellent, excellent call.
Yeah, great job by him, and great job by Anderson Russell to stay in bounds when he possessed the ball. Not a lot of shotgun for Ohio State so far in the game. They'll go to Wells, who's hit in the backfield, can't get out of that tackle. Quentin Davey knifing through the offensive line to make the play.
All right, nice. Another stop in the backfield for Northwestern. And watch the penetration by Quentin Davey, the outside linebacker, playing really close to the line of scrimmage, able to split a couple of blocks, get to Beanie Wells. Now it's just hold on until the help arrives. And this would be a major kind of small win, so to speak, for Northwestern if they're able to just hold Ohio State after a big turnover to just a field goal attempt.
But again, Northwestern has had trouble getting off the field on 3rd and long. Shotgun to Pryor, and he's going to run. Quarterback draw down to the 15-yard line. Nate Williams on the stop. Was that too conservative of a call by Jim Tressel there?
Well, they're trying to go misdirection, start Pryor one way, and with the wind blowing, it looks as though, well, actually we're going to trot the field goal team on out. But try to get Northwestern flowing to one side and then misdirection Pryor back the other way. He's such a smooth runner where you're thinking sprint out pass and he sticks that foot in the ground, but good job of playing disciplined defense by Northwestern.
33-yard field goal try by Pretorius. So Ohio State comes up with 3 points off the Northwestern turnover to take a 10-point lead. We mentioned that the light has come on for this Northwestern program. That was a big hold there for the Wildcats. Back in Chicago, a shot of downtown in Grant Park, where President-elect Barack Obama gave his acceptance speech earlier this week. And a lot of people adopting his slogan of "Yes, we can." The Buckeyes holding out hopes of going to the Rose Bowl. You know, if Penn State wins out, good chance of the Nittany Lions, depending on what happens in front of them, obviously, could play for the national title game. And then you would think the Rose Bowl would want Ohio State, although there's been talk that maybe the Orange Bowl would be interested. There's a rep here from them today. They do have the last pick among the at-large bids as Simmons takes the kickoff out to the 22. Let's check in now with Wendy Nix in the studio.
Dave, thank you very much. We're going to check in on the ACC. Georgia Tech at UNC. Cameron Sexton under center, looking for Zach Pianalto. He will find him an 8-yard strike, 7-0 Tar Heels.
Zach Pianalto, a freshman All-America last year, gets UNC on the scoreboard early.
The Georgia Bulldogs facing Kentucky. Matthew Stafford to Mohamed Massaquoi. Noshawn Marino would punch in another. It's now 14-0 Georgia.
Meanwhile, Simmons on first down gets good yardage. Laurinaitis takes him down, but after a gain of about 5. Obviously, the Big Ten champ goes to the Rose Bowl game presented by City unless that team goes to the BCS title game.
We're kind of surprised that Ohio State hadn't been to the Rose Bowl in 12 years since 1996. That comes as a huge surprise.
Well, they've been in the national title game 3 times.
It's been elsewhere,
this decade.
Yeah.
Winning in the Fiesta Bowl at Sun Devil Stadium, then 2 losses the last 2 years. Here's Kafka, hard to get outside on Jermail Hines, backup safety. One of the fastest players on this Ohio State team, even at 210 pounds.
Well, you're going to see, though, the speed and the strength of Mike Kafka. They've actually got him kind of corralled in the backfield here, and he's able to kind of squeeze, split 2 defenders, and still pick up about 2 yards to get it to 3rd down and short. Well, you just underestimate his speed. He's kind of deceptively fast, and his strength. When you get to him, he's hard to get on the ground.
Boy, Northwestern needs a first down. Takes some of that momentum away from Ohio State. Kafka, great throw that time. Boy, how did he complete that? Josh Rooks on the catch and the first down.
Well, you just find a way sometimes as a quarterback. You don't have to get to make that perfect delivery every time. You just got to turn into a football player. Look at the pocket kind of collapse around Mike Kafka. Now, just throw a catchable football anywhere in the area in which Rooks can come up with a play. Move the chains, the #1 agenda for Northwestern.
Of course, the Wildcats holding out hope of a New Year's Day Bowl, trying to get their 8th win today. Kafka nowhere to go as Ross Holman and Malcolm Jenkins chase him out of bounds.
Well, good job there. You see the All-American safety in Malcolm Jenkins. A lot of people have him as the #1 rated corner going into the draft after the season. So it's a tremendous football player, 4-year starter for Jim Tressel.
Loss of 4. 2nd down and 14. Simmons taken down from behind by Nader Abdallah. Well, our friends at EA Sports have helped us break down some of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the country. We'll start with Tim Tebow.
A lot of them doing it in a lot of different ways. Tim Tebow on the ground for Florida, big time. And then you get Colt McCoy out of the spread offense. He's having a fantastic year, over 80% in the air. And then you got the dual threat of Terrell Pryor, who we're seeing today, has yet to kind of get going. Mike Kafka, I think you could throw him into that mix as well.
Although Ohio State's done a much better job the last 2 possessions containing Kafka. Kafka going to run on 3rd down and long, dragged down by Cameron Hayward, able to get off of his block, and Northwestern will have to punt the football.
You know, when you show the pass at some point, you know, you saw Kafka a couple of plays ago complete one to Rooks. We're going to have to rely on him throwing the ball. Give me some 1st down passes, keeping this Ohio State defense off balance, because if you're just going pure run with Mike Kafka, now you can tee off, get a lot of guys around the line of scrimmage, and create some problems for Northwestern.
2-to-1 run to pass ratio so far in this game for Northwestern offensively. Hartline backing up inside his 20-yard line. Flag down as Hartline is across the 30-yard line. Rudbisky, I think, going to get busted for a block in the back.
I think you're absolutely right, trying to help his receiving buddy out and free him up a little bit. If just either it's one of 2 things. It's either a block in the back or a hold.
Illegal block in the back. Number 80 on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
So Ohio State will be backed up inside its 20, but the Buckeyes lead Northwestern by 10.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Aflac, ask about it at work, and Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
And don't forget about the game against Ohio State on ESPN2.
Go Cats.
Northwestern University student radio station WNUR 89.3 as Pryor goes downfield for Rudbisky, incomplete, with Sherrick McManus covering. You know, at first I thought this might be Andre Ware's LP collection, but actually as we went inside a little bit deeper, we recognize this is a student station. But
yeah, a lot of
like
stuff there. Yeah, a couple of things.
Some Elvis. You like Elvis Presley, I know.
Of course. Well, Elvis.
All the bootlegs there as well from Andre's collection.
That's a low blow. That is a low blow.
Can we say bootleg on television?
I have no response to that one.
Other than
I don't even have a comeback.
A quarterback bootleg?
That's it.
Here's Wells, stood up at the 12, so a huge 3rd down now for Ohio State. Nate Williams in on the play.
Well, this is, I'm understanding this is your collection right here. The dusty ones in the back. You know, the old ones.
That's it right there.
Yeah,
that's my collection. Just that one there.
Oh, good stuff. Saturday afternoons, college football. Is there anything like it?
Well, Northwestern is hoping for one more shot on offense here, but again, the problem for the Wildcats today.
Getting off the field on 3rd downs.
They did the last drive and forced Ohio State into a field goal. You would think if Ohio State were to go up 24-7, it'd be tough. Play clock at 1. Here's Pryor from his 2-yard line. And Pryor able to find Sanzenbacher for the first down. What a great play by Pryor. He had a guy underneath, but he held off for a second and then went to the second level with that pass, and his man was open.
Well, you're starting to see a quarterback mature of Terrell Pryor, true freshman. And you're right here, looking down the field. A couple of weeks ago, he may have taken off and run with that football. Now, keeping the eyes down the field, throwing a nice catchable football out wide and moving the chains. I'm telling you, we are watching a star just develop right in front of us.
Sanzenbacher at 6 catches in the loss to Penn State. The last couple weeks has become a favorite target of Pryor, who's 4 of 5 in this game, as Ohio State has converted 3rd and 8 or longer 4 times. Pryor going for Robisky, and that one way off the mark. But Ohio State quarterback Terrell Pryor has certainly matured, the #1 recruit in the country. He began his career behind Todd Beckman, shared time with him until the struggles with USC. And then with Pryor behind the center, Ohio State goes 5-0 before the Penn State game 2 weeks ago. A late fumble by Pryor and the interception at the end of the game.
Well, you know, you give your best effort. You got to keep your head up. You can't win them all. And I'll tell you what, he has grown since the Penn State loss. You get a bye week and a chance for him to really continue his development and practice, going back building and adding on the foundation level.
Here's Wells taken down in the backfield by Nate Williams. You know, it's always interesting to watch how a true freshman, especially at the quarterback position, responds from facing adversity really for the first time in his career. And it appears, based on what we've seen today, he's responding quite well.
I think they've got a good foundation of players around Terrell Pryor, the Laurinaitis, the Malcolm Jenkins, the Brian Robisky's, senior leadership that kind of eases the transition for him. And you know what? He doesn't really have to be a star at this point. Now he can just kind of grow into that position. And but the talent is so overwhelming that it always will stand out, and he's got a lot of it.
They're 4 of 6 on 3rd down. All those conversions 3rd and 8 or more. Here's 3rd and 13. Pryor taken off. And Pryor going to be close to the first down. He's got it again at the 37-yard line.
Or just so smooth. And, you know, it gives it, takes it away. Is the ability to pull it down and make a play. Nothing open down the field. You see the nice play action fake, stepping in. The eyes are down the field. But now, a lot of green grass in front of him and knowing when to get himself down so he doesn't take the unnecessary licks that defenders want to unleash on him. He is magical.
Why can't Northwestern get off the field on 3rd and 8 or more?
Your guess is as good as mine, partner.
I mean, that's 5 times. And it's not like Northwestern's defense is that bad. Here's Beanie Wells with a big gain on 1st down.
Well, you're in a meeting room and you're being talked to all the time about, you know, get them to 3rd and long. Well, you know what? Northwestern has done a fantastic job of that today. 1st and 2nd down, they're taking care of business. Now you get to 3rd down, and all of a sudden you keep coming up short. And what happens is you get frustrated as a defense, and it makes it a little bit easier each time as Ohio State starts to run plays. Watch 1st down. If they don't get a handle on this, 1st and 2nd down will get a little bit easier.
Well, it is right now. 2nd and 3 after that 7-yard pickup by Wells. Here's Wells again. Shakes off a couple of defenders. And that's the best 1-yard gain you'll see as Kevin Mims with a tackle, then a couple of flags as there was some late hit. A couple late hits in there. Alex Boone getting into it. Prince Quitang.
After the play's over, late hit, 75, offense, 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Just so unnecessary. Watch right here, Alex Boone.
Oh
yeah, leading with the head, Prince Quitang. You think that one's not going to get called? And what's surprising about it, Laurinaitis had the 15-yarder. You had now Alex Boone with a 15-yarder, 2 seniors on this football team that should, you know, you should know better.
You wonder, is that frustration of, okay, now we're playing at best for a BCS Bowl, not the BCS National Championship?
I think it's just being stupid in a football game.
Okay. Here we go. Ohio State 3rd and long. They love it here today. 3rd and 16. Pryor in trouble again. And there he goes. Another first down for Ohio State on 3rd and long, and then he's hit late by Quitang.
And now you see the frustration from Northwestern come out as you get them in 3rd down and long once again. And Pryor.
After play's over. Late hit. 36 defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run.
And Pryor sticks the foot in the ground and changes directions. And now Quitang was a good recipient of Boone's play the play before, but watch him right here. Just a development, and you cannot coach this. You can only hope to contain it, and once he gets on the outside, forget about it. Right here, Prince Quitang, they're going to throw that one each and every time you see him going out of bounds and you put a hand on him, the officials are going to throw the flag.
He is deceptively fast. He's a long strider, so sometimes he doesn't look like he's running that fast at 6'6". Dan Herron has come into the game at tailback to give Beanie Wells a breather. Herron with 58 attempts coming into this game. He was playing a lot when Wells was hurt earlier in the season. As we look at the downtown Chicago and some geese, so I guess it's not officially allowed. They're allowed to announce our Aflac trivia question, which is James Laurinaitis trying to become the 2nd player to win the Nagurski Trophy twice. Who was the 1st player?
I know the answer to this.
You do know the answer.
Yep.
He has something to do with this game today. We know that. And I got a feeling he's coaching today as well.
Big time hint.
11th play of the drive. Here's Herron inside the 20. Another Ohio State first down as we go to Wendy Nix at the 2-minute mark.
Dave, thank you very much. The last time we checked on Texas, they were up 14-0 on Baylor, but Baylor has an answer courtesy of Robert Griffin. A 1-yard run cuts the lead to 7. We'll have much more coming up at the half.
All right. Meanwhile, a potentially demoralizing drive here, Wendy and Andre, as this possession started at the Ohio State 10, but a couple of 3rd down and long conversions. And the Buckeyes,
couple of 3rd down in Chicago's.
Yeah.
And they're able to pick up the first down.
Ball at the 15-yard line. Play fake. Pryor setting up to the end zone for Robisky. What a throw! Touchdown, Ohio State.
Well, when he gets hot, it's just take your medicine. How do you want it, on the ground or in the air? And that was thrown like a 5th-year senior right there, right to the corner, back of the end zone. Receiver never had to break stride. Right here, look at the timing. Set your feet, the ball is in the air where the receiver can adjust to it. Excellent concentration by Brian Robisky, and Ohio State, they're rolling.
7th touchdown pass for Pryor this season. Robisky's 6th touchdown catch, a 12-play, 90-yard drive. That's going to make it awfully tough for Northwestern to come back from down 17 points. Well, he's good. We knew that. And he's just getting better each week. And only a true freshman, Terrell Pryor. Saturday Night Football on ABC tonight features the #2 team in the BCS standings, Texas Tech, taking on Oklahoma State. Others will see a good one between USC and Cal. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. Last year in that game, Graham Harrell threw for almost 650 yards, and Texas Tech lost. Harrell, a Heisman candidate. You would think Terrell Pryor, even next year as a true sophomore, is going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate.
He is going to enter that conversation, especially if he keeps making plays like the 3rd down run that he made on this drive, and then the touchdown pass to Robisky in the corner of the end zone. You can't keep him out of that conversation.
Here's Stephen Simmons on the kick return for Northwestern. Breaks one tackle and upended at the 25-yard line by Sean Lane, one of their best special teams players. All right, time to answer today's Aflac trivia question. James Laurinaitis winning the Nagurski Trophy, which goes to the best defensive player twice. Who was the first guy to do it twice? What's your answer, Andre?
Well, I'm going to go with Pat Fitzgerald, the Northwestern coach / ex-linebacker.
And we'll show you that answer in a minute as the running play by Simmons gets maybe 3 yards, tackled by Laurinaitis. You're right, it is Fitzgerald, and he was on those 95 and 96 Big Ten title teams. Shared it with Ohio State in 96 and won it in 95. Gary Barnett, the head coach, Darnell Autry, the running back. Here's Kafka on second down out to the 35-yard line. See if Ohio State calls a timeout or not. Try to get the ball back. Nope.
If I'm Northwestern, I'm trying to go down and get some points. You're getting the football first in the second half. Go ahead and nail a couple of points on the scoreboard here and then get the football first. And you think it's score and you're right back in the football game out of halftime. But they're letting a lot of clock run down.
Well, I don't know. They haven't been able to get a first down.
This is decent field position. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not bad either when you're around your own 35-yard line.
But then if you don't get it, you give it right back to Ohio State. And apparently Jim Tressel content with that 17-point lead, not calling a timeout here.
If you're trying to win, you cannot play scared, my friend.
And the game clock at 6 seconds, and they'll keep it on the ground with Simmons, and that will likely be the final play of the half. A quick first half here in Evanston.
Fans are voicing their displeasure.
Although about 20,000 Ohio State fans in an uproar right now as the Buckeyes, once tied at 7, lead by 17 as we go to the studio in Wendy Nix. Back in Chicago, where it's always an interesting challenge to negotiate traffic unless you're Ohio State running back Beanie Wells.
In the mix.
It'll be Wells on 1st and 15. John Gill had him wrapped up, and Wells gets out of there. What a run by Beanie Wells! Inside the 15. Wells shakes off a defender. Touchdown! Fire setting up to the end zone for Robisky. What a throw! Touchdown, Ohio State! And the Buckeyes lead it thanks to 17 unanswered points. 24-7, not a bad seat in this house, especially if you're an Ohio State fan watching Terrell Pryor.
A little warmth in there as well.
Yeah, a little warmer, that's for sure.
Kind of beating the elements.
Windy, temperature at game time around 40, feels like it's about 30. We have not had snow flurries on site here in the last couple hours. We did as we were walking over here, but
it felt like 30 at kickoff. It's a little bit cooler. It feels a little cooler than 30 right now.
Ebert and Simmons back to receive the kick. That play by Beanie Wells really changed things as Northwestern was playing well defensively prior to that. Short kickoff by Petrie. It'll be Simmons who muffs it at the 8 and scoops. And does well to get across the 20 to the 21-yard line. So Kafka back on the field at quarterback, and boy, Ohio State, we wondered how they would respond. A week off, losing to Penn State, meaning their hopes for a national championship game appearance are over. But Wells, Pryor, Laurinaitis, who had 8 tackles, all responding beautifully.
Yeah, you said prior to that, that's kind of the storyline now as Terrell Pryor has gotten himself rolling offensively for Ohio State. I think in Northwestern, they're going to have to open up the passing game to get themselves going offensively as well. Defensively, hey, it's no surprise. You got to stop Ohio State on 3rd down.
Kafka downfield, and it's a first down to the 45. Rasheed Ward. Well, they needed that. They had not had a pass play over 12 yards prior to that pickup of about 24.
Well, when you don't throw the football like Northwestern has later in the first half, now you got a lot of Ohio State defenders around the line of scrimmage. That's why it's so easy on that first play. They hadn't shown it all day. Now all of a sudden it presents itself. It's wide open.
And then they try to go back to the run, and Simmons taken down in the backfield by Marcus Freeman and Nathan Williams. It was all Kafka for Northwestern on that first drive, but then the Wildcats struggled the rest of the half offensively.
Yeah, but you see the rushing yards. Had Beanie Wells pretty much bottled up most of the first quarter and then allowed for the 55-yard touchdown run, which that's basically all of that yardage right there. And you can't throw the football. You're not going to keep a defense off balance. Ohio State starting to tee off.
How about the yards on 3rd down? 122 for Ohio State as Kafka takes off. He's got some running room. Kafka into Ohio State territory down at the 41.
Well, he's got some wheels of his own. It's not there, that first option. I don't know if he's getting to 2 and 3, but if he sees green grass, he's got the green light to pull it down. You see Mike Kafka right here. Nice little move to buy himself some time. Nothing there, and now I'm going to pull it down and watch what we've watched for 2 weeks right here. Mike Kafka making plays on the ground.
And Northwestern in Ohio State territory. Kafka finds Ebert, who caught a touchdown pass last week against Minnesota. Jermail Hines, sophomore safety from Cleveland, makes another play. Jenkins over there as well.
Well, Ebert was the man last week. Caught his first touchdown pass from actually the second of the season for Jeremy Ebert, but first from Mike Kafka as the starting quarterback against Minnesota.
Ebert grew up in Hilliard, Ohio, an Ohio State fan as a youngster, as they run Peterman inside the 36-yard line.
You know, I'm wondering if this is not 4-down territory for Pat Fitzgerald and Mick McCall, the offensive coordinator. You get down here, you're across the 50-yard line. You need points to kind of get yourself back in this game. And this is where coaches like to gamble a little bit, get it to 3rd and medium, and then try to convert on 4th and short.
High snap, Kafka will run, and he gets a block on the outside and picks up the first down. Rasheed Ward on the outside with a great block, and a flag comes in late.
Well, you get everybody along.
Late hit, out of bounds, personal foul, 21, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And I agree with the call. Anderson Russell, the free safety, coming in a little bit late on Mike Kafka, but the coaches, the players help influence the call of the official. And you watch all the players here on the sideline begging for a call. They're actually, if they had flags, we'd have about 100 or so flying in the air. But Northwestern, a nice drive here to open the second half.
Ball on the Ohio State 16-yard line. Kafka, a huge gap down the lane inside the 9-yard line. Nathan Williams with the tackle. And on a previous play, James Laurinaitis over on the sideline. And Pat Fitzgerald, a former linebacker, talking to Russell at first, saying, that was a late hit. I remember laying some of those out when I was playing.
Yeah, old to the new right there. A little old school and a little new school, with Laurinaitis being the new school part of that baby.
Here's Kafka dragged down from behind by Hines. Boy, is he going to be good. And that's a gain of only 1. And when you talk with Fitzgerald, the way he speaks, he sounds like a coach and he sounds like a player at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, he really does. They have that blue bag drill that they run at practice, and you know, you talk to those close to the Northwestern program, they say, you know, he just assumed throw a helmet on, get right in the middle of it. And you could feel the intensity of Pat Fitzgerald, how passionate he is about Northwestern football.
Inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in May. Joining you. Here's Kafka, big 3rd down. He got tripped up, comes up short. Abdallah made the play. Well, now what? 4th down and short. And Northwestern's going to take points here. Let's take you back to pregame. Pat Fitzgerald and the Northwestern head coach, wired for sound.
Top of the morning to you, Coach Tress. I'm doing great. How are you? Good. How's everything?
Thank you.
Did they make any chicken broth down there?
No, they didn't. Come on, what's up?
I thought you.
I'm filing a fairness.
I'm telling you now.
We were talking with Jim Tressel this week about ages of coaches and the wide range that you have in the Big Ten. Is the 25-yard field goal was good by Villarreal, and we talked about Fitzgerald being very young, and Tressel made sure to point out, well, hey, the oldest guy in this league is on top. And that's Joe Paterno. 24-10, Ohio State leads. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Kay Jewelers. And the guy you just saw, Terrell Pryor, probably going to have a lot of jewelry before his football playing days are over at this level and the next level. And he's going to be on the field for the first time this half after the Northwestern kickoff. The Wildcats coming up with 3 points. Right decision there on 4th down and 1 to kick.
We were kind of tossing it around. You go down, right out of halftime. You're going to need a field goal anyway. I think it's the right decision.
And if you go for it and you don't get it, you're dead in the water. I think you got to take the points down there. As Thomas takes it across the 20 and out to the 23. Well, just 2 races left, and Jimmy Johnson looks to hold off a hard-charging Carl Edwards in his quest for a 3rd straight Sprint Cup championship. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues in Phoenix Sunday on ABC, where it's a lot warmer. Coverage beginning with NASCAR Countdown at 3 Eastern.
P is for Phoenix, but this drive coming up for Ohio State, P might just be for Pryor, the talented true freshman from Ohio State.
Here's Beanie Wells, who had that 55-yard rushing play, and it was similar to that, where it looked like he was stopped and still gets yardage. And at least Northwestern tackled him on this play at the 31-yard line.
Well, you get a big back like Beanie Wells, and you think you've got him down, you think you've got him hemmed up. And watch the leg right here, the leg drive, the determination to keep himself going, absorbing the licks, and now come on out of that, baby, because they don't have me on the ground. I feel, just feeling around, and all of a sudden he gets that head of steam. You can forget about getting him down.
As you see up top, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns for Chris Wells. Here's Beanie again, waiting patiently behind a blocker, finding a hole and out to the 43 before Brad Phillips brings him down. You gotta wonder if Beanie Wells, who's shaken up right now, was healthy, did not get hurt against Ohio, played against USC. Maybe it's a different season for Ohio State.
Yeah, I think so. I think he means so much to this Ohio State offense in terms of what they want to do, the identity of this offensive unit, and he certainly provides that in the running game. They want to run the football, mix in some play-action pass on third down, and what better to do it with than Beanie Wells.
Here's Dan Herron, who replaced Wells when he got hurt, and the freshman Boom Herron unable to get any positive yardage.
Let's take a look at how Beanie Wells comes up a little bit gimpy here on this play. You see it right here, and just kind of start holding his ribs. May have come down on top of the football, and that's one that if you've been a ball carrier, you know that that feeling right there.
Maybe knocked the wind out of him.
Man, he is a big guy, 6'1", 200, almost 240 pounds, and can really run, gets that full head of steam, and even Dave Pass wouldn't get in front of him.
You got that right. Pryor throwing short to Brandon Smith, 8th catch of the year for him. And the down of the day, third down coming up, although most of Ohio State's third downs have been 8 or more. And this will be third and about 3.
Well, that's, you talk about executing the game plan, and that was to get Ohio State in long yardage situations. And Mike Hank was the defensive coordinator. He's been able to do that. Now, you got to finish the part of the game plan where it's get yourself off the field on third down when it's third and forever. And that's where they come up short.
Aaron remains in the game for Beanie Wells. Here's Pryor to the air on third down. And Hartline able to, no, incomplete at the 44-yard line.
Oh, we maybe have a tide changer here in terms of Northwestern. They go down right out of halftime, get themselves 3 points, put points on the board. This drive by Ohio State, their initial drive in the second half, they get a stop, a much needed stop on third down, and let's see if they can get themselves back in this ball game.
And Brendan Smith, who was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, scored the game-winning touchdown against Minnesota, is back to receive the punt, and it's fair caught at the 16-yard line.
Well, up until that point, you talk about getting yourself off the field on third downs, and certainly third and long for Ohio State in a lot of instances here. Terrell Pryor over the top to Brian Hartline, and then right here hitting the big tight end on a third down and long. You forget about passing it. I'm going to just pull it down and take it myself. And then this is the sweetest move. May have been one of the sweetest plays right here of the entire game. Of just pulling it down. It was third down in Chicago, and Terrell Pryor is able to come up with a first down.
Here's Stephen Simmons on the carry. Remember, Tyrell Sutton is out likely for the season with a wrist injury. Omar Conte, who started last week for Sutton, gets hurt in practice. A knee injury this week, so Simmons, who had 4 carries all year, becomes the starter.
Think about the injuries to Northwestern. C.J. Bechet, a week ago, he's out with a hamstring. Mike Kafka comes in, and they're able to kind of paste and glue some things. Terrell Sutton out of that ball game, and they win at Minnesota. Now they're right back in this one.
Oh, what a move by Kafka! Wow! Kafka totally shook an Ohio State defender and eventually brought down near midfield.
Well, that's film room material right there. When you miss or you make a guy miss, and at Northwestern they're praising Kafka, and then at Ohio State the defender that gets shook right here. Anderson Russell, the free safety, flying up there. He gives it, takes it away. Woo! We'll ride him pretty hard in the film room tomorrow.
26-yard pickup, and then Simmons gets clobbered by Laurinaitis and Abdallah. A gain of 1 or 2, but we weren't sure going into yesterday who was going to be the starter, but the coaches told us that it's Kafka. And even though C.J. Bechet is a senior and he's done a great job in 2 years with this Northwestern program, because Kafka's a dual threat, he's a more dangerous guy right now.
Well, he is a dangerous runner when you get him in the open field and he starts to make plays. I think it's a feel thing for Mike Kafka once he gets going.
Here's Simmons right into the teeth of that Ohio State defensive line. Nader Abdallah there. But the problem is, can Kafka win the game through the air for Northwestern?
Well, I think he's going to have to at some point. But take a look at the sideline of Ohio State. Talk about a big physical runner like Beanie Wells. And he's on the sideline. They're sewing his jersey up. They got the needle and thread working over there and trying to get him, get him back pretty, get his uniform taken care of. And he'll just come right back out of it. It's all the punishment that he delivers.
Boy, the trainers are asked to do everything these days.
You got to not only wrap ankles and take care of players when they're injured, you got to come out and sew jerseys as well. Equipment managers, amazing.
3rd down and 7. Kafka running for the first down, and I think he got it. What a great job. Marcus Freeman was coming about 150 miles an hour at him. He knew where he was, and he just tiptoed that sideline before going out of play so he could get the first down.
What a weapon when you have a guy at quarterback when things break down, eyes down the field, no one open. Pocket's starting to collapse a little bit. Now you've got an athlete back there that can pull it down. He's got enough speed and enough smarts to get himself to the first down marker. Excellent second half so far for Northwestern.
Back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. They're looking for a screen. It's not there. Another great move by Kafka. Here he goes again. But eventually wrapped up and thrown down by Coleman. Just too much speed after a while. They eventually get to you. And that's a loss of 5. Probably should just thrown it away there.
Well, you know what? You say that, but it should be right at the feet of the screen back initially. Otherwise, now you got linemen down the field. So if you throw it away, they're going to flag you for the lineman being downfield, and you're in worse shape than they end up here.
So 2nd and 14. Kafka with only 3 attempts last year through the air. And 14 of 19 coming into this game as we have another penalty flag movement.
It's going to be a false start against Northwestern.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 9 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's Ross Lane. So now you back it up 5 more yards.
You know, there are penalties that take place during the action that coaches can live with. It's the ones like that when you're just aligning yourself, especially if you're a wide receiver out wide and you're just looking down inside at the ball. You're not supposed to false start.
Ohio State had only 10 men on the field. Todd Denlinger was late getting on the field. Denlinger was not out there, so James Laurinaitis recognized that there were only 10 men, and he calls a timeout. 24-10, Ohio State leads.
From the producers of The Phenomenal Four comes a righteous MPG machine who knows the streets. It's Outlander from Mitsubishi. High gas prices and boring economy cars. Better watch out, because this hero's backing one lean, mean Myvec 4-cylinder machine. Loaded with technology and room for 7, Outlander's looking for action in style. The 2009 Mitsubishi Outlander. It's one far out CUV.
The strength to build a better future can be found in the Army. With leadership skills and training in over 150 careers, the Army takes you to your strongest point. And whatever you do after that, in your career or your community, you'll just keep getting stronger. There's strong, and then there's Army Strong. See what it's like at GoArmy.com.
Michelin makes some of the most fuel-efficient tires on the road, so you can take the pump down. Find out how much you can save at MichelinMan.com. Michelin, a better way forward.
These aren't mine.
This is Bob at CDW. Leave a message.
Hey, Bob, it's Greg. Competition's starting to get a little too close, so we need to talk. Let's discuss network security. Call me. Hope you're well.
ESPN's College Football Brought to you by the Phenomenal 4 from Mitsubishi. 4 cars, 4 cylinders, 0 compromises. And the U.S. Army. There's strong, and then there's Army Strong. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
Well, if you're a fan of chili and eggs, you need to stop by the tailgating here at Ryan Field on the campus of Northwestern, because Fred Grimmer of Chicago is cooking it up. He's going to tell us his recipe.
Sweet recipe.
Right now, Ohio State with a recipe for another victory. Pryor and Wells. And those two guys, big reason why it's a 14-point lead. Northwestern with 3 points already in this quarter, looking for more. Kafka going to run on 2nd and 19 and gets clobbered. Malcolm Jenkins with a shoulder to the jaw of the quarterback, Kafka.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts right there. That is forming you up, baby. Catching a quarterback. He's a little bit off balance, and he just came right through Mike Kafka. Watch him out from outside in. Nice leverage from the outside, and just catches him just right. Ross Holman, the outside linebacker, was the first to arrive, but Jenkins certainly cleaned up the situation.
Simmons running on 3rd and 17. It'll be 4th and 10. Here's Fred Grimmer with his chili and egg recipe.
Okay, today we got my favorite chili, which is diced tomatoes, jalapenos, beans, onions, mushrooms, and some secret spices. Okay, we're going to put an egg on. And take a nice scoop of the chili. Ah, that looks great. There we go.
Breakfast champions.
Demos punting here. And it's going to take a Northwestern hop inside the 10.
Let me just say this. I'm glad you didn't take part in the chili and the eggs before we came on the air. It's kind of close in here, and I'm glad you resisted the urge to have a little chili breakfast.
Well, he would have had me except the secret sauce. He lost me there. I was not going to touch it after that. All right, time now to wear it out. And Ohio State and its seniors like Jenkins and Laurinaitis should be commended, right, for coming back to Ohio State, even though they could have gone to the NFL.
Absolutely. They enjoy the college experience, the atmosphere in which Jim Tressel has set up. Certainly the goal was to come back, compete for a national championship, but that kind of went to the wayside with a loss at USC. And then, now it's just how do we rekindle things, reevaluate, and go and try to win a Big Ten title. And so that may have been taken away as well along with that. But, you just enjoy the overall college experience, and you can't take that away from a young man.
Deanie Wells back in the game on the carry there. And, we've had some coaches this year tell us, hey, I'm going into kids' homes, and their parents are asking me, how can you get my kid to the NFL?
Right.
A little bit different in this situation here with Ohio State with Laurinaitis and Jenkins.
Well, you're talking about text messaging, cell phones, all the stuff that I didn't have to really deal with as a player. And it's right there front and center, and parents want to know how, they've already got the kid in the NFL in Pop Warner. So it's a lot to deal with on the collegiate level when you start look at it from that standpoint.
Wells out to the 30-yard line, and it's another Ohio State first down. 11 tackles for James Laurinaitis. Malcolm Jenkins with 6. And, you can kind of compare Ohio State's situation to men's basketball in North Carolina. All these guys coming back, Ty Lawson, Tyler Hansbrough, Wayne Ellington, Danny Green, to try to win a national title. And in talking with the Ohio State folks, it's not just about, or it wasn't just about, a chance at a national championship. As you said, Andre, to start your wear it out, it was about the fact these guys love being around each other.
Yep, they love playing. They love what the game of college football is all about. I mean, look at it. Laurinaitis, a 3-year starter in the middle of that Ohio State defense. Malcolm Jenkins on the outside, 4-year starter at cornerback. Where else do you? I mean, you gotta really search to find that in college football these days, especially when you're talking about the magnitude of the talent we're discussing here in Laurinaitis and Jenkins.
Plus, Laurinaitis says, it's hard to get rid of things that you love, and case in point, a Legion of Doom T-shirt that features his father on it, from a pro wrestler that he's worn around locker room since he was 11 years old. It's the same T-shirt. He still wears it. A little big back then. Here's Wells on 2nd down, going to bring up 3rd down and long. Let's take a look at Laurinaitis' pregame ritual. He starts it off with a little Bible study with Freeman and Malcolm Jenkins, and then listens to Dave Matthews and Kenny Chesney to get ready for the game. And we talked about that pregame wardrobe, including the Legion of Doom T-shirt featuring his father, Animal. Real name is Joe.
You know, you'd think he's listening to something a little faster and more upbeat than the Dave Matthews Band or Kenny Chesney. He says, you know, I need to bring myself down a little bit and relax because he's so fired up before a football game.
Terrell Pryor being chased by Wooten, and Quitanga now throwing downfield. Oh, what a play by Pryor as he finds Hardline to the 21.
Wow. Hey, you talk about just bubbling over with talent. You know, he's got enough where he can share it with someone else, and there he did with Brian Hartline. What a throw by Terrell Pryor. Right here, just athletic, getting out on the edge, and look at the placement of the football where Hartline does not even have to break stride to catch the football. Boy, I'm telling you, I understand the reaction of Brendan Smith because you're right there to make a play, but the throw beats you.
Here's Beanie Wells, stiff-arming defenders. Out of bounds at the 7. You know, Andre, you and I get to watch NFL games on Sundays in person, and there are a lot of guys in that league starting that can't make the play that Terrell Pryor just made as a true freshman in college.
Well, you're talking athletic ability to get out on the edge to elude the rush and then put the football right where your receiver needs to have it. And, oh, yeah, did I mention, by the way, that you're on the run? This is Terrell Pryor on 3rd downs today. 5 out of 6 converting 5 of those. No touchdowns, but certainly big plays to be thrown in there. Amazing stuff.
You've watched Vince Young his entire career, even in high school.
Better passer than Vince Young was, certainly way better passer than Vince Young at this age.
Maybe right now better at passing. That pass knocked away. I mean, Boateng made the play there, pass intended for Hartline.
Both guys are magical with their legs. Vince Young certainly in that category. But when you start comparing them in terms of the ability to put the football where you need to, there's no comparison. Terrell Pryor head and heels above.
Pryor, 6'6", 235 pounds, recruited by everybody. And Jim Tressel not only getting him, but getting his center, Mike Brewster. I mean, these guys are going to be together for probably 3 years. Brewster, one of the top offensive line recruits in the country.
You know, when you know a guy is special, when he just does it and it just looks smooth, like it's effortless.
Play action. Pryor being chased by Gill, and Pryor gets away from 2 Wildcats and then throws to the end zone. Touchdown! You got to be kidding me! This guy's amazing! Woo! Rory Nickel with a touchdown catch, but take your hat off and just lay it down at the feet of Terrell Pryor.
Just let me ask you this, partner. Did you think he was sacked?
Yes.
He didn't. Somebody forgot to tell Northwestern that he was not down, and what a play. I'm talking about the play of the game thus far. Yeah, we had the Beanie Wells 55-yard touchdown run, but this is special, my friend.
He knows it, too. Not many guys at any level of football can do what he just did.
Great kid when you talk to those around the Ohio State football program. He just wants to fit in. He's not this star #1 recruit coming into a program that wants special treatment. He's just one of the guys. Look at him work right here and extend Ohio State's lead 31-10 over Northwestern.
Working for Vegas.com is extremely tedious. I have to see every show on and off the strip. I find you the best seats, write a review, and post them on Vegas.com. It's a job that comes with little to no perks.
Rooms, show tickets, air hotel packages, tours, and more. Vegas.com. Do Vegas right.
ABC kicks off their coverage of college football today with regional action most of the country will see. Undefeated and number 3 of the BCS standings, Penn State facing Iowa. Also Clemson, Florida State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. College football on ABC, 3:30 Eastern time. Penn State, of course, still with a shot at a national title. After beating Terrell Pryor and Ohio State, I say he's okay mentally. Bounced back pretty well from that loss 2 weeks ago.
Watching him in warm-up, he looked a little bit cold, but you know, the frost is thawing out, and then he is playing at a high level right now.
Had a key fumble and then interception at the end of the game against Penn State. That kick is hammered into the ground, taken by one of the up men at the 20-yard line. And it's Rooks across the 30 out to the 32-yard line. Well, at this stage of Terrell Pryor's career, when you look at him physically and see what he's doing, it reminds you of LeBron James. He's LeBron James of football.
Well, I think so, and it's a good comparison. But, you know, you have one of those moments where all of a sudden you announce to all of college football that you're ready. I think we're witnessing that with Terrell Pryor right here today. Had a bad game, wasn't his best game against Penn State, and certainly took the off week, did what he needed to do to get himself, you know, ready and prepared. And lo and behold, look what we're watching this evening.
Kafka dumps it off to Peterman. Great tackle by Jenkins, another guy who's got a bright future in pro football. What is the next step for Pryor in his development?
When you start talking, you look at him in the first start he had, it was basically drop back, pull it down, run the football. Then it grew, kind of developed into a drop back, first progression. If it's not there, then pull it down. Now it's get the second, third, you know, whatever receivers you have in the progression, and still being able to threaten the line of scrimmage, looking down the field, making plays. Because there are a couple of plays in this game that earlier in the season he would have just flat out pulled it down and run with it. Now the eyes are down the field, and you saw it right there on the last touchdown pass.
And we're going to the fourth quarter. Ohio State leading 31-10. Oh yes, Terrell Pryor lives here as the Buckeyes try to sew up win number 8 in Evanston. Terrell Pryor is rocking. Boy, what a day for him. 2 touchdown passes. Also 33 rushing yards. Northwestern with the ball on 3rd and 5 gets a much-needed first down. Down 21 points as we start the fourth quarter. Ross Lane on the catch. Holman on the tackle. And you see the numbers for Pryor today.
Yeah, 8 of 12, 163 yards. You see the last 3 games kind of struggled a little bit. 46. It kind of dipped down a little bit, the completion percentage, but he is on the money today.
Remember, he beat out Todd Beckman, a senior who led Ohio State to the national title game last year. Peterman breaking tackles, takes on a defender inside the 35 as we go to the studio in Wendy.
Dave, thank you very much. A check on Michigan and Minnesota. Nick Sheridan under center in place of Stephen Threet. He's out with headaches. That's an 8-yard strike to Greg Matthews. 19-3 Michigan over Minnesota.
Well, that would be big for Rich Rodriguez. Michigan already guaranteed a losing season and no bowl game for the first time in 34 years. Jermail Hines shaken up. Well, already, Andre, we've had some midseason coaching changes. We were at Clemson a few weeks ago when Tommy Bowden had stepped down, and Ron Prince, Kansas State, in the middle of his 3rd season, to the surprise of many, being relieved of his duties.
Yeah, that's a move right there that you kind of shake your head, scratch your head, whatever it is, that the coach doesn't even get to see his first recruiting class graduate, which what was it, 16 and 18, I want to say his record is. And how many coaches around college football start their first 3 years? A lot of them would have loved to have had that and continue on and have successful careers. I think Kansas State may have jumped the gun a little bit on that one.
Pat Fitzgerald told us that he talks a lot with Ron Prince because both are younger coaches, 2 of the youngest in the country, and said he spoke with Coach Prince this week and took the high road, didn't complain, said he was grateful for the opportunity at Kansas State. You'd think that Prince would get another shot somewhere else at some point.
I think so. He's a classy individual. Kansas State in a much better situation because Ron Prince has and was the head coach there. I got to believe that someone's going to recognize that.
Kafka hit hard. That pass incomplete. Abdallah with the hit. Well, only 4 black head coaches will be in college football going into this offseason, with Prince being let go and a couple other minorities in Navy and Florida International. But you got Sylvester Croom and people wondering about his status there. Randy Shannon, Kevin Sutherland in his first year at Houston, and Turner Gill at Buffalo. His name has been rumored, and some jobs like Syracuse.
Yeah, you look at Turner Gill, and I certainly think he's going to have a season in which he'll draw a lot of attention from around the country with the job that he's done at Buffalo. He's done a fantastic job. They're competitive each and every week, and I love the job he's doing.
You know, why do you think, Andre, you got the NFL where you have plenty of African-American head coaches in the NBA, college basketball. It's not an issue. Why is it such an issue with college football?
Well, you're talking 32 teams, and it's getting a lot better on the national football spectrum. But college football, 120 teams in Division 1A, and only now it's going to be 4 African-American head coaches or minority head coaches. It's just kind of I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that one.
Pass pulled in by Lane, and it's near the first down marker at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate. You think that a lot of it would kind of spread itself. More assistants would be hired so that it does translate eventually into head coaching positions. Hopefully it gets itself better.
Well, again, the Ron Prince was a little bit surprising. You saw Joe Tiller on that list of coaching changes, but one thing that he did that Bobby Bowden has done and some other coaches have done, they've gone out and they've hired their successor and then put them on the staff, and that's hurting minorities who are looking for head coaching jobs. As that pass is tipped by Abdallah and nearly intercepted, and there is no Rooney rule in college football where you absolutely have to interview a minority candidate.
Something's got to change, because I know there's more than enough qualified coaches on the collegiate level to take over and lead programs. I gotta believe Ron Prince is going to be going to land somewhere else. Turner Gill, as he shuffles around, someone on his staff at Buffalo maybe taking the reins as the head coach if he elects to move on. So plenty of qualified coaches.
Kafka on 2nd and 10. And takes off inside the 15-yard line, and he got the first down again. Steps out of the 12. Now, there are plenty of good assistant coaches. We're going to see one next week. Mike Loxley having a lot of success at Illinois and as a recruiter at Florida.
Mike Loxley's so good, and he's so qualified and ready that I think he's going to be able to handpick where he's going. And I think anyone that doesn't bring him in and see him, get him in the interview process is doing themselves really a disservice. I think he is more than ready to take over a program.
Abdallah again twirling Kafka to the turf at the 12-yard line. Tyrone Nix's name was mentioned there for a while, but you don't hear it as often these days. It's a trend that definitely needs to change in college football.
Yeah, I agree with you, and hopefully that's the direction it will point itself, and we'll eventually get to that.
Meanwhile, Northwestern trying to get a quick score here and get it back to a 2-possession game. Kafka, he never saw the defender. Nathan Williams got behind him and sacks Kafka back at the 20.
And Nathan Williams right off the edge just kept working Kafka. When you sense it, now you got to know if you're going to step up and outside in a hurry. Does a good job right here feeling the pocket. Now you can't go backwards because you got to know where that right tackle Desmond Taylor is and step up and outside, and you miss that whole deal.
Still over 100 rushing yards for Kafka after a Big Ten quarterback record 217 against Minnesota, which is losing to Michigan. And Kafka in big-time trouble. Down he goes. Williams again at the 40.
Williams' second sack, 2 consecutive plays. It's like a Buckeye is kind of slow to get up. Later, Abdallah, big defensive tackle on the inside, but this is where you really turn it into trouble for yourself, trying to outrun it. Right here, the ball should be gone. Throw it away, and you get used to, you make a couple of big plays with your legs. You think you can do that all day, and now someone has an angle on you, gets you on the ground.
The ball was at the 12-yard line. Yeah. Now it's back at the 40. Not only are they not going to get a touchdown, they're out of field goal range, so Demos to punt. And fair caught by Robisky at the 15-yard line. Well, this is always a busy time of year in Chicago with college football, NFL, the spaceship that landed at Soldier Field where the Chicago Bears play. Are the Olympics in Chicago's future? We'll talk about that as well when we come back.
Lots of room back there in the back. Yeah, it's got all kinds of room in it, man. We drove it down a huge mountain. It's still as smooth as can be. Loads of power. Hemi, top of the line. Can't even feel the trailer back there. Go, 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 go.
makes some of the most fuel-efficient tires on the road, so you can take the pump down. Find out how much you can save at MichelinMan.com. Michelin, a better way forward.
Well, I felt like I needed an extra kick or an extra little boost to get me through, and from what I hear, 5-Hour Energy does the job, so I decided to give it a try. I like the way 5-Hour Energy makes me feel before games. It gives me that edge that I need and keeps me focused throughout the football game. I tell all the players to take 5-Hour Energy. I mean, they see the way it makes me feel, so I think everybody wants that same type of feeling. I am the 5-Hour Energy guru. It's the truth. I mean, I wouldn't be taking it. 5-Hour Energy. I use it. I love it.
Back on a cold November Saturday in Chicago Navy Pier here in the Windy City, and the host cities being considered for the 2016 Olympics: Rio de Janeiro, Tokyo, and Madrid, and Chicago. You wonder if President-elect Barack Obama will help Chicago's cause, and they'll find out in 11 months. They've got meetings in Copenhagen, Denmark, and then we'll know whether Chicago will host the Olympics. And Northwestern officials telling us that if they did host it, as Wells is hit at the line of scrimmage, that the university will be involved some way, shape, or form in hosting an event. Let's go to Wendy Nix now in the studio.
Dave, thank you very much. It's the check on Wisconsin and Indiana. It hasn't been the season the Badgers had hoped for, but so far so good today. David Gilreath, the 90-yard reverse. He is off and running.
Now, as a defense, you do not expect these quick-type reverse plays, especially when a team's down inside its own 10-yard line. Give Wisconsin a lot of credit, though, and Brett Bielema dialing it up.
Nice.
All right, Wendy, here it's 31-10 Ohio State. And the Buckeyes with the football, trying to just run out the clock. Beanie Wells out to the 19-yard line. Well, with just 2 races left, Jimmy Johnson looks to hold off a hard-charging Carl Edwards in his quest for a 3rd straight Sprint Cup championship. Tomorrow on ABC, NASCAR Countdown at 3, and then the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Phoenix. That's tomorrow from the Valley of the Sun.
Donnie, you're a neck of the woods.
Well, there's a couple of big events on the family of networks from Phoenix. Monday Night Football taking place from the University of Phoenix Stadium on Monday night in Glenville as the 5-2 Arizona Cardinals take on San Francisco. Here's 3rd down and 7 for Terrell Pryor and company. And Pryor will go to the air. And he's going deep again, and he's got a man open. The pass underthrown, but that's interference times 10. Sherrick McManus all over Rubisky.
Yeah, Rubisky did a little acting job to help with the officials' ruling. This is where you like the spot foul when in college football.
Pass interference, 24 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot results in an automatic 1st down.
We'll get Coach Tressel's reaction here as well. Ball's in the air, and there he is, liking the job that his young quarterback's doing. You know, we talked about it earlier in the game. They're going to take 6 to 8 of those a game, where they just drop back, get guys deep, put the football in the air, and counting, it's about 5 or 6 right now. So I think they've got a pretty good handle right now on what they want to do offensively.
That pass was underthrown, but most of them have not been underthrown, which speaks to his arm strength throwing in cold weather. Trying to hit Rubisky again out of bounds. Pass was a little bit wide.
Yeah, there's no questioning the arm strength or anything about Terrell Pryor. Was kind of a tall, slim kid when he arrived on campus at Ohio State. Came in January and went through the entire offseason program in spring football, and just matured physically. Just the size, the speed, everything kind of came together, and it was going to be tough to keep him off the field. He is a tremendous athlete, excellent basketball player in high school, 16-0 last year in a state championship as a high school senior.
Here's Wells up the gut and up to the 42. Here's Wendy Nix again.
Dave, thank you. Syracuse 2-6 on the season, 1-3 in the Big East. How would they fare today? Well, Joe Martinek, a 45-yard touchdown run right there. Rutgers on top, 28-14, about 4.5 to go in the 3rd quarter.
All right, Wendy, and don't be surprised if Syracuse loses that game, that there's an announcement next week regarding the future of Greg Robinson. Was told that needed to go to a bowl game this year, and with the loss, they would be eliminated from bowl contention. Robinson in his 4th year at Syracuse, and
tough year at your alma mater.
It's been a tough 4 years. Here's Wells and Northwestern all over it on 3rd down, and so that brings up 4th down.
Well, that's how you got to corral a guy like Beanie Wells. A bunch of bodies around, a bunch of jerseys, helmets, getting around the football so that, he can't slip away. If you get him one-on-one, that is a tough job to ask a defender to bring Beanie Wells down. I don't know, you had John Gill had him, and he's 6'3", 300 pounds and couldn't do it by himself. So you got to get at least 2 defenders around Beanie Wells.
And that changed the game. That play right there. It was 7-7 at that point. Here's a fake. Trapasso running, and he's going to get the 1st down and more, showing off his running ability. How about that for the punter? Now, do you agree with that decision by the Ohio State coaches, leading by 3 touchdowns, to do that?
It's cold outside and, cold in the area. But that's cold right there. 31-10, that's cold-blooded. That cuts all the way down through the flesh right there. I mean, a fake punt and you're up 31-10. Whew.
Yeah, but in defense,
you know what they say about payback.
In defense, though, of Jim Tressel, it's a 3-possession game. This way you keep the ball and you can run the clock out as opposed to giving it back to Northwestern.
Yeah, your defense is playing fine. I think I don't know if that one. I agree with that one, Dave.
Well, they're throwing again, and there's a face mask penalty. Wooten got the face mask of Pryor, and so this will be a 15-yard penalty.
You have a defense where you just had 2 sacks by 1 player in consecutive plays, and you punt and play defense. I think they've 10 points all day long. You really think there's a threat at this point? I mean, you got them handled, and then you run the fake punt.
Face mask, 99 of the defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
Well, that's kind of taking your head and mulling it in the sand a little bit.
Yeah, but you've said, I've heard you say it several times. Hey, I'm here to win. When I get the ball in my hands, I'm here to win. So keep it in your offense's hands.
Don't kick a guy when he's down, though. You have to play him. You're in the same conference. You'll see him again. And I think at that point, you know what? Maybe if you punt the football in that situation, Northwestern goes down and gets a quick score, now you start taking care of business. But I don't agree with that one. Not even I agree with it.
And Pryor to the air, so they're still trying to score points. Pryor going for Rubisky, and again the pass on target. Touchdown, Ohio State.
Still running the clock out.
They're trying to score. That's why they went for the fake punt to put it away, which they did just there. 34-yard touchdown pass, 3rd of the day for Pryor.
Must be style points for a bowl game.
Well, Penn State still has to play 3 games. Ohio State with Illinois on the road next week, and then Michigan to close out the season. So the Big Ten championship has not been decided as of yet. Michigan State still in the mix as well. Extra point good to make it 38-10. Ohio State. Terrell Pryor, 3 touchdown passes, threading the needle right in between a pair of Northwestern defenders.
ESPN's College Football is presented by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Welcome back to the Windy City, a cold November Saturday in out of downtown Chicago.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
One of the great cities in the United States. Ohio State leading 38-10. About 20,000 Buckeye fans in attendance here in Evanston. That's why they call it the 7th home game. Ohio State kicking off. Think the onside kick it here, Andre? Just kidding. Just want to see what you'd say.
A little onside kick action, huh?
Well, they went for the fake punt.
Well, that last bomb they threw from Pryor to Rubisky wouldn't surprise me.
Well, pooch kick, close. And Northwestern Rooks had trouble with it. He coughed it up at the 33-yard line. Northwestern got it back. Let's go to Wendy Nix now in the studio.
Dave, thank you very much. So far, so good for the faithful in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Tar Heels hosting Georgia Tech. Ryan Houston punches it in from 2 yards out. That would make it 14-0, but the Tar Heels have extended their lead up by 3, 21-0 over Tech.
Well, it's anybody's guess in the ACC who's going to win that thing. You got about 8 or 9 teams that could win the ACC right now.
Well, North Carolina looks strong. What a job that they've done there in a short period of time.
Yeah, Butch Davis, obviously an excellent football coach and recruiter. Kafka finds Ross Lane, pushed out of bounds near the first down marker. Saturday Night Football on ABC features a tough test for the hottest team in the country, Texas Tech, taking on Oklahoma State. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines and ABC. Some of you will see Cal USC. Texas Tech head coach Mike Leach says it's the biggest game in the history of this year for Texas Tech.
In the history of this year.
That's what Leach said.
That's great.
Kafka throws a pick, intercepted by Laurinaitis at the 48-yard line. Who wins that game tonight? Texas Tech and Oklahoma State.
I'm going Oklahoma State. They still a little irritated about a loss they had in Austin a couple of weeks ago. They looked good last week. I think Texas Tech still riding a little high, an emotional win over Texas. I think they go in and take care of business. Oklahoma State in this one against Tech.
Well, Michael Crabtree, most think is the best receiver in the country.
I as well.
Des Bryant, pretty good. Oklahoma State.
Boy, 2 good ones. And Des Bryant going to try to prove that or take that title away from Michael Crabtree. But I don't know if I've seen a better player at that receiver in a very, very long time.
There's Todd Beckman. Haven't seen him in a very long time because of the play of Terrell Pryor at quarterback. Beckman leading Ohio State to the national title game last year. And we're going to lead you right now as Heron picks up a couple of yards to last week. EA Sports and Andre Ware teaming up for a prediction from last week. Texas Tech, Texas.
Crabtree right here at halftime, a 21-17 lead. But Colt McCoy is going to come back with his own touchdown pass to bring Texas back. But it's going to come down to this. Graham Harrell, Michael Crabtree. Tech's going to win it by 3. Close.
What else are you going to tell me here? You know something else? I don't know.
Keep my bowl, keep my little crystal ball. I got tips on the stock market as well. Give me a call.
Beckman's pass incomplete, may have been tipped at the line. You were all over that last week. And Texas Tech, thanks to that great play by Crabtree. We talk about Heisman Trophy winners normally having a signature play that everybody remembers. Well, you can make a case, obviously, for Michael Crabtree, and that play right there helps Graham Harrell as well.
I don't usually, talk about until you get well into November about a guy that has the lead, who you like at this point in the season. But Crabtree, I can't help myself. You watched him a couple of weeks ago against Kansas. He had a fine day that day, and none bigger than last week's reception and what he did against Texas in that ballgame.
Beckman going deep. Incomplete. Well, Ohio State not going to run the clock out. What do you think of this? Or do I even need to ask?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I don't agree with it. Just run the clock and get the running backs a little work and Beckman a little work at handing the football off.
Well, I was okay with the fake
now
punt.
What you do is you start subjecting players to injury. You get Northwestern a little ticked off. Maybe they start tapping on the rib cage of a quarterback, just a half second late. Players think that way.
Well, it's okay with the fake punt, okay with Pryor throwing deep, but then you bring Beckman to the game. Why do you throw it?
Still going down the field.
Yeah. Fair caught at the 9-yard line by Brendan Smith. Terrell Pryor, 3 touchdown passes. Ohio State rolling in Chicago.
Ruby Tuesday's handcrafted minis are bold on flavor and big on taste. Beef, turkey, and crab cake minis. Our new mini trio, 25 great burgers starting at $5.99. The new Ruby Tuesday, so good it's guaranteed.
This is my accounting system. Unpaid invoices on the purple ones. Still evolving.
Our sales figures.
They're all right here.
I designed my own spreadsheets. Nice, right? No?
There's an easier way to manage your business. With Intuit QuickBooks software, you can easily create invoices, track sales, and manage payroll all in one place. Intuit QuickBooks. Get back to business. Find out more at QuickBooks.com.
Welcome back to the campus of Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. A cold Saturday. A little cold for a jog. 38-10, Ohio State leading Northwestern. Let's go in depth on Terrell Pryor.
Well, you watch him here work from the pocket and, stepping, going through his progression. He finds Brian Hartline down the sideline for a big play in that first drive. And then you see him here. Pull it down. He's still able to make plays. Right here, he would have taken off earlier in the year with that football. This one, fantastic placement on the outside to Hartline again. The kid is just growing up right in front of our faces.
Andrew Brewer on the catch out to the 15. How about this? 9 completions for Terrell Pryor for 197 yards. That's 22 yards a completion.
He's special, and none like the last touchdown pass that he was able to throw. I mean, actually, the one before that to when he found a receiver, broke a couple of tackles, and then fired one into the end zone for a touchdown. He is something else.
Pass dropped by Rasheed Ward. Pryor's day is done. Beckman was in at quarterback in the last series. Well, next week we'll be in Champaign to watch Ohio State play Illinois, who's losing, by the way, to Western Michigan. But boy, there'll be some athletes on the field in that game with Pryor and Regis Ben, Juice Williams, Vontae Davis, Martez Wilson.
Yep, it'll be a little different story next week. When you get down to Illinois and to Champaign, a lot of good athletes on both sides of the sideline.
Ward with a first down catch. That'll stop the clock for the moment for Northwestern. Assuming the Wildcats lose today, they would drop to 7-3, 3-3 in the Big Ten. Still a shot, though, at 9 wins and a New Year's Day bowl.
Every year that Pat Fitzgerald's been the head coach here at Northwestern, they've added on to the win total.
Here's Peterman with another Northwestern first down. And he's up to the 40-yard line. Let's go to the studio, and here's Wendy.
Dave, thank you very much. Kentucky has not beaten a ranked Georgia team since 1965. Could that change today? Randall Cobb, a 9-yard run for the Wildcats. This comes after blocking a punt. 24-21 Kentucky on top.
And Georgia trying to bounce back from that loss to Florida. As we look at the Big Ten standings, Michigan State not out of it. In fact, they would win a 3-way tie, if there is a 3-way tie between Penn State and Ohio State, as a flag flies, the pass incomplete. And the reason that they would win the tiebreaker, they did not play, as Penn State and Ohio State did, a football championship subdivisions team this year. That would be the reason.
76 offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
That is not a penalty flag, by the way. That's a hand warmer bag. I think that's yours, Andre. You have when you're down on the field talking.
I got a couple of them, and it's a little chilly. Players got the hand warmers, and that's what's inside of them right there. Keep the old hands warm.
What was the coldest game you played in? Green Bay?
Oh yeah, it was with the below. When you start talking about the wind chill, Green Bay one year we went there with the Lions to play them 33 below with the wind chill.
And here's Peterman out in the open, breaking tackles and taking on the safety Kurt Coleman and picking up the first down. I mentioned that Michigan State would win a 3-way tiebreaker. They've got Penn State at the end of the year. Penn State has Iowa today coming up.
It's going to be a good matchup. That's going to be a great matchup. Penn State, Michigan State coming down at the end of the season, and you've got Penn State's got to take care of business today at Iowa, though I think they will. After being jumped by Texas Tech, there's a lot of motivation to get things handled today.
Here's Brewer on the catch, and he's to the 41-yard line. Now we're talking about that Penn State-Iowa game coming up at 3:30 on ABC. Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, Northwestern all battling for bowl games out of the Big Ten. Also Florida State, Clemson, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, presented by Best Buy. Still a chance for Oklahoma to play for a national title, or is it going to be tough?
Absolutely, I think so. They continue to take care of business. They've got Texas Tech coming into their place next week. So you're going to get the #2 team, and we know that if you knock off 1 or 2, you have an opportunity to really jump in the standings, in the BCS standings. So, yeah, I think they're very much in the mix, as well as Texas. Texas still has an outside shot here and there.
Well, they're 4th in the BCS, Texas. Oklahoma's 6th, though. You could argue Texas has a better chance. Oklahoma's going to need some help. Florida is going to have to lose. Probably Texas is going to have to lose as well. Kafka to the 39-yard line. A lot of people upset. Even though Texas, when it beat Oklahoma, jumped from 5 to 1, a lot of people, they weren't mad at that. They're mad that Texas Tech jumps Penn State to #2 from #7. How about you?
Well, I was kind of surprised as well. I thought as far up as Texas Tech could go would be to #3 with Penn State there. But I guess sitting idle at home, you get the benefit of the doubt if you're playing that day. I wonder just, if Penn State had beaten Indiana or someone that day, would Texas Tech have jumped them in the standings? And I got to say no.
So you think it's because of the bye week?
I really do. I think so.
Flag down. Kafka down as well at the 37. I mean, nobody really said much when Texas beat Oklahoma and jumped 5 spots. Granted, it was a little bit earlier in the season,
right,
but still, people upset. And, Jim Tressel, Joe Paterno, a lot of the Big Ten coaches still trying to figure out why the Big Ten gets slighted. And you have to think that the 2 national title game losses by Ohio State, even though it's not supposed to matter at all for 2008,
but it
still plays a role.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head with that one. If they just would have even looked better in those 2 title games in consecutive years, then maybe you get the benefit of the doubt. But the way it happened, the way it went down, that you start to lose the respect around the countries around the country as a conference, so to speak, and you wind up having what happened last week with Penn State being jumped by Texas Tech.
You're going to need, if you're Penn State, Alabama, or Texas Tech to lose. You got the big one on ABC tonight with Texas Tech, and Alabama with a tough one at LSU. And if Alabama wins that game, they automatically will go to the SEC title game as the ball is punched free, recovered by Ohio State. Worthington with a recovery, and Hayward with the forced fumble.
That was Hayward just relentless in getting to Mike Kafka. And all of a sudden he gets there, and instead of going, just for the sack and dumping the quarterback, he rakes that football out, puts it on the ground. And then Worthington's right there to kind of scoop it up.
It's interesting, though, just to finish that point on Alabama, if they win today and Florida wins, the SEC title game is decided. It'll be those 2 teams, but still a lot to play for.
Who do you have in that one? Alabama, Florida?
Well, if they were to play, I'd have to take Florida. I think Florida right now, to me, is the best team that I've seen, at least play recently, as Chris Wells is backup. Maurice Wells is in the game now to the 35-yard line. Now, that offense with those young players, and then with Tebow, who's right back in the Heisman mix, you have to say, best team right now.
So if that's the best team, who's the best player that you've laid eyes on this year?
Crabtree.
I agree with you. We're seeing out of the same pair of glasses.
That's a scary thought.
It is.
2nd down and 2.
I got better eyes than you.
Beckman will hand it off to Maurice Wells again. And Wells will have the 1st down, trying to stay in bounds, even though the clock will stop for the moment to reset the chains. And Beanie having fun. No relation between Chris and Maurice. Chris from Akron, Maurice from Jacksonville, Florida.
A little different style runner. He's a veteran back that he's got a nice burst. Beanie more of the power back with with a little speed once he gets going. Maurice cut from a little bit different mold. 28 carries, 140 yards. That's a pretty good afternoon for Beanie Wells.
Again, that 55-yard touchdown run in the 1st half was the game changer. It was 7-7 at that point. Northwestern had the momentum, but Wells ended it. Maurice Wells tackled at the 25. Let's go to Wendy.
Dave, we're going to take you right back out to Lexington, Kentucky, but with good reason. The Wildcats were on top 24-21. Here we go. How about Noshawn Marino? A 20-yard run caps off an 8-play, 80-yard drive. Bulldogs back on top by 4, 28-24 over Kentucky.
Well, no Sean Marino for a while there was considered a Heisman candidate, and that's dissipated with Georgia's a couple of losses. But man, there are some excellent running backs in college football. The Sean McCoy at Pittsburgh. We've seen one today in Beanie Wells. Here's Chris Wells, or make that Maurice Wells, excuse me. Maurice Wells inside the 20. Chris Wells with the key play today, the 55-yard touchdown run for Ohio State.
Well, you see him. You're going to see him break a lot of break tackles here. John Gill had him wrapped up, and now he's got that full head of steam, and you can just about forget about it. You see Jordan Maben trying to give chase, but Beanie Wells just kind of brushes him off, and that really got things started for Ohio State.
Is he the best running back that you've seen?
This year, I would have to say yes. You know, he's had a heck of a season coming back, battling injuries, and then since he's been back, he's been nothing short of spectacular.
Aaron picks up the first round to the 16-yard line. Let's take a look at Andre's ideal running back when it comes to the spread offense.
Yeah, when you're in the spread, you need a little bit of height so you can see, because you're running, most of the plays are going to be run from the shotgun. About 215 pounds, and then the breakaway speed, 4.3. And that's my guy right there. About 6 foot, 215 pounds, and some breakaway. Beanie's a little bit taller, 6'1", a little bit heavier, but
you'll take him.
I'll take him. I wouldn't turn him down.
Likely the final play. Aaron breaks a tackle at the 5, and he's going to score. Touchdown, Buckeyes. Do you just take a knee, or do you continue to put points on the board? That's not going to please Pat Fitzgerald.
Why not just take a knee? Game's over.
I don't know if Tressel thought that play was going to go for a touchdown.
Well, just kind of watch his reaction. You see Aaron run.
Yeah, he knows it, because he knows what Pat Fitzgerald is thinking, and that's not his intention.
Yeah, well, you know what? You could avoid it just by having your quarterback take a knee. You are the play caller.
Extra point good, and it's 45-10. 7 seconds remaining in Evanston. Ohio State on its way to 8-2, 5-1 in the Big Ten. Northwestern head coach Pat Fitzgerald not a happy camper after Ohio State ran the ball there and got into the end zone for a touchdown. I'm sure the fake punt, the deep touchdown pass by Pryor, and then bringing the backup in to throw the ball didn't please him either. Well, squib kick, and Northwestern will have one more play here with 5 seconds remaining.
Just don't, you know, you have the fake punt, then you have the deep pass from Terrell Pryor that kind of added on to it, then the run by Heron. You know, if you take a knee, I think you're pretty much out of here and the game's over. We still have 5 seconds remaining that you have to get off the clock.
Northwestern going to fall to 7-3, 3-3 in the Big Ten. Ohio State improving to 8-2, 5-1 in conference play. Simmons tackled at the 39-yard line, and that's the game. Ohio State 45, Northwestern 10. Pat Fitzgerald and Jim Tressel meeting at midfield for the handshake. And Jim Tressel will get his team to 8-2 as the Buckeyes go to Champaign next week to face Illinois. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. There's Tressel's reaction after the last Ohio State touchdown. Pat Fitzgerald not happy, but understanding what Tressel was doing there. For Andre Ware, I'm Dave Pash. Now to Wendy and Jesse in the studio.